the opportunity and privilege of participating today. I especially want to thank my wife, who's due November 6th with our third child, and she's home with our 3.5-year-old and 1.5-year-old. So if you guys could please record that, thanks. I really appreciate it. J&B is a family-owned, privately held enterprise. My mother owns 51%. My father owns 49%. So we say my mother's boss at home and at work. I'm sure you guys can relate. But we have 16 different business enterprises. We have customers in 48 states, 28 countries. Most people know us as one of the largest third-party billers of consumable medical products to the homes in the United States. But we run the gamut from medical distribution, of B2B, specialty distribution businesses, and our latest enterprise has been a company called HealthNet Connect, which is our virtual care company. My father had a vision, and his vision was that we would be able to provide access to healthcare anywhere, anytime, any place in the world. And that vision today is reality. So before I get into some of the details, just a little context. You know, we're at an incredible time. I mean, think about this. One of the largest transportation companies in the world, Uber, owns no automobiles. Alibaba is one of the largest retailers in the world. They own no inventory. Airbnb is one of the largest accommodation providers in the world. They own no real estate. And that wave of disruption is coming to healthcare today. Every time I start to think about this wave, I think of a quote from Steve Jobs. He said, "Innovation differentiates between a leader and a follower." And you know, we always kind of think of which side of the wave are you going to be on, and technology could decide which side of the wave you're going to be on. U.S. healthcare today is the 5th largest economy in the world. And by 2020, it will be the 4th largest economy in the world. I mean, think about those statistics. Sukat Ratnak, I can't say her name properly, I'm sorry, said, "Life is a continuous journey of transformation," and that's how we have to look at healthcare. Whether it's mobile health, whether it's telemedicine, whether it's telehealth, whether it's video conferencing, whether it's sensors, we're all going to be in this connected health environment moving forward. And the folks that come up with a strategy to pursue that are going to have a significant advantage. A lot of people are spending a lot of time and resources on the gifted gadgets and gizmos, and I'm sure all of us in this room have seen many of those type of technologies. But we believe that it's the data and information along with the back-end care coordination that's really ultimately going to be the approach that moves the needle. So the future of healthcare is not tech, T-E-C-H. The future of healthcare, we believe, is tech, T-E-C-C, technology-enabled care coordination. Now, a couple things. Number one, we believe that the incentives are starting to align to use these new solutions. For example, several months ago, Health and Human Services came out with the new regulations, and the new regulations for accountable care organizations now will enable urban telemedicine and remote patient monitoring to occur. So there'll be codes for that. The other area, a lot of healthcare costs are skyrocketing for companies, and self-insured companies, we've been working with many of them on different types of solutions. So we see many opportunities there. One of the challenges about some of these approaches is there hasn't been really a viable business model up to date. So the Uber for healthcare, the healthcare on demand, if you look at the vast majority of those companies, the vast majority of them are losing a substantial amount of money. They're raising money based on the potential and not their actual business model today. We believe that the model will have to include some element of risk, particularly around chronic diseases moving forward, and we have several different projects going on. To give you an idea of some things that we've worked on, we did a project with congestive heart failure patients, which is a very popular area, particularly around readmissions, and very small cohort. And that was able to, in about 30 patients, decrease readmissions about 71% in that small population. We did a project with a large union which we were able to take care of their diabetic patients over a 6-month period, helping to decrease hemoglobin A1C about 9.5% over 6 months, and LDL 35%. Again, small cohorts. And one of the things that really needs to happen, there's a lot of anecdotal type of things. I think intuitively we all realize that technology is going to play a big role in the delivery of healthcare, but there hasn't been a lot of very good clinical validation up to date, a lot of great clinical studies. That's something that's going to need to occur. Just this anecdotal, I mean, we all know it, but someone's got to prove it, right? So we think that's going to play a very substantial role. I think the area that we've had the most success is we currently have a project, several humanitarian projects going on around the world. We have branded those projects called PATOS, and again, healthcare anywhere, anytime, any place. So currently we're taking care of 75,000 mothers and children in Pakistan in very remote areas. They never had access to care, and we've really moved the needle on clinical outcomes and quality, and that project's scaling to 1 million starting January 1st. And we come from the mindset that healthcare is not a privilege, it's a right. Everyone should have some basic form of healthcare, and we really feel technology will play a big role in that. I just also wanted to say, you know, when you look at the whole landscape of our society today, you look at the Fortune 500 companies, from 1955 to 2014, there's only 61 companies today that were around in 1955, so about 12% of the Fortune 500. If you look 20 years ago, that's when Facebook and Google and you know, Amazon all started. The life expectancy of a Fortune 500 company today is 15 years. That's it, and it's decreasing every day. So our business climate, our healthcare climate is going to be changing very rapidly. And there's a quote that I always think about from Michael Gelb, and he talks about innovation. And he said, innovation is the development of value for your customers in the marketplace. And whoever can best do that are going to be the companies that most successfully ride this wave of disruption in healthcare.
Thanks, Stephen. That was